Hi, my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to budget my first paycheck of April. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we actually have a ton to go over today. I got my bonus last month. It's been a while, actually. It's been a few weeks, but I've been holding on to it till I got my first paycheck because this is when my raise went into effect. I really wasn't sure how I wanted to handle things. When I went into my bonus conversation, I was not expecting what they told me was going to happen for next year, and I was not pleased. So they started off by telling me that I did get a raise. My raise was pretty good. It was just over 12%, which is way better than last year. Last year, I think I got a 1.7% raise, which was super low. And that was because of how our department did. It was a really low year. Even though my personal rating, like my reviews were really good and everything, my stakeholders gave me awesome reviews, so did my manager and everything, but just because of how our department did, my annual raise just was not great. 1.7%. It was terrible. I was shocked. But nothing, I could have done better, honestly. This year I did get, I think it was 12.53, I want to say, for my raise, which is awesome. But what happened is, I don't remember when they did a people survey. My role was surveyed throughout the United States. I work for a very large company. We have offices all over the United States, all over the world even, and people just throughout in other markets, probably in my market too. We were all surveyed, and everyone, I guess the majority of people voted that they'd rather have more money now rather than later in a bonus. And so we were given an increase, and our annual bonuses have been taken away. So next year, I will not be getting a bonus, and I'm not happy about it because the raise does not cover, it doesn't even come close to what I get in annual bonus. I know the bonus is not something that I can expect. It's not a guaranteed amount each year, but last year I did get about the same that I did this year, and then the year before that it was prorated, but it would have if I would have gotten the full year, it would have been around the same amount. So it's like tracking, If I do stay at my job until my bonus time next year, I will be making less money. And the unfortunate truth is that right now the job market is just not great. So it kind of puts me in a hard spot. Honestly, I am not even looking for a job though, because it's just so time consuming. I'm like, I kind of look every once in a while. I've applied to some jobs and I haven't heard back. Problem is I really do like my job, so it's I'm completely heartbroken. It really does suck. They try to, when my manager told us, it's this new manager that we've had since September, but she was trying to make it seem like, oh, it's taxed higher, so it's okay, And I'm like, well, actually, yeah, you're in your paycheck, but at the end of the year, when it comes down to it, all that income goes into that same box in your W-2, so it doesn't actually matter. You can't, trust me, I know. You can't say that to me, to make it seem like it's okay. And I know that she doesn't actually have any say in this. She came into this already. This was already underway, and she's just the messenger. But that, I can't imagine that that's one of the talking points that they gave her, and she just went off script. But anyways, so I'm glad that at least they gave me a decent raise, because I know that one of my coworkers didn't get that kind of raise. She started at the beginning of 2024. She just got a standard 2.5% or 3% raise. I can't remember what she said, and I was like, oh my gosh, that sucks. And I don't know what she makes or anything, but So I'm glad that like having been there for a few years, at least they took that into consideration and gave me like a higher raise, you know. But it does suck because losing a 20, I think my bonus this year was 22,000, 23,000. Let me check. My gross bonus this year was 22,500. Losing that, it's huge. That's what I've always used to like reach my financial goals, like meet my sinking fund goals and reach my like investment goals. So it's a big change in how I manage my money, and I'm gonna have to start thinking of how I want to handle things in the future. I don't know. I'm just not happy about it. Anyways, that's why I needed some time to like really think about how I wanted to move forward with how I'm going to distribute and use my bonus. I still haven't touched anything. My bonus payday was March 20th. I haven't touched a penny of my bonus. It's all sitting there in this category right here, $12,907.01. I did increase my 401k contributions before I got my bonus, so it's actually a little less than I got last year. Because of that increase in contributions, I just wanted to send a little more to my 401k. Of course, this is before the markets went down, so yay. That's okay. The amount that you see up here is just my paycheck with my raise. But I did want to go and show you what my paychecks look like before and after. It's actually kind of significant in my opinion. This is my first paycheck of the month and my second. We're just looking at a standard 2 paycheck month. We're not going to worry about the third paycheck. That typically looks like my second paycheck. The reason there's a difference is because on my first paycheck of the month, I typically have my train pass come out of that with pre-tax dollars. My second paycheck doesn't have that extra pre-tax expense. This is after all like state and federal taxes, Social Security, everything. My 401k contributions, HSA contributions, all those like post-tax deductions like group medical insurance, you know, those like little ones, those are very, very minimal. It's almost nothing. And then again, my train pass. So my first paycheck is always a little less than my second paycheck. Before it was $1,643.65, and this is after I increased my 401k contributions. And then the paycheck I just got, which is what you see in my ready to assign, is $1,857.92, which is a difference of $214.27. So an extra $214 for one paycheck, I think is a pretty significant like increase, which is awesome. I'm really excited about that. At least there's that, you know. For my second paycheck, this is an estimate because obviously I haven't received that second paycheck of the month yet. I use the ADP paycheck calculator for Illinois to calculate this. And I had done this before I received my first paycheck, and it was off by a couple of dollars, but it was very minimal. It's really a very accurate. I did go down a couple of dollars because I'd rather be overly cautious. So it might be a couple of dollars more than this, but $1,905.81 is what I estimated compared to $1,790, which is what I estimated with my 401k increase in contributions, which is an extra $204.91 for a total extra a month of about $218 or $220 approximately. So I'm sorry, $418 or $420 a month. So that's, you know, a fair amount of money, I think. So I'm pretty excited about that. Obviously it is welcome. Obviously more money is always welcome. We actually have way more money to budget out today than the $1,857.92. What I've decided to do with my bonus is kind of split it up throughout the year just to give myself even more of a raise. I was already planning on doing this before I even found out about this bonus situation. I was intending to just take the bonus, split it up evenly over 26 paychecks, and that was before this bigger raise, which was going to give me about $2,100, maybe a little bit more. Now that I've gotten this raise with the extra $200, it kind of changes things. What I've decided to do though is to bring my paychecks up to $2,100 and then leave the rest sitting there, unsure of what I'm going to do with the extra money. I don't have to make all the decisions right now though. I know the one thing I do want to work on is increasing my emergency fund, because I think my rent will go up when we move, if we decide to move. Once I get my sinking funds a little bit built up a bit, I'm going to start working on that. First up is the annual bonus. I am going to get this to $2,100. So I will move $242.08 to ready to assign. And that brings me up to $2,100, which is kind of like the paycheck that I'm trying to give myself each paycheck. And then the next money that we're working with is I had not realized that I forgot to add in the interest from my high yield savings account in March. So that's exciting. When I went to reconcile my account, I realized that I had $87.21 from when I had not reconciled my account, my Marcus high yield savings account in March. So I have $87.21 there. I'm moving that up to ready to assign. And then from when I reconciled my Marcus account, also from April, it was $93.61, but I only have $53.61. I am not sure what happened to the other $40. I don't remember assigning it anywhere, and I don't see it in the recent moves. I don't know what happened. Whatever. I don't want to spend too much time like dealing with that, so we're just letting it be. So move that up to ready to assign. I'm going to delete these categories because I was just keeping them there just to be a little more organized. And then finally, I have $450 from a bank bonus that I completed. So we're going to move that up to ready to assign as well. And then delete this category. Again, we were just trying to keep that money organized for this video. That's it. So that is that. I'm going to go ahead and just collapse this category because I don't think I will be needing it for now. All right, so we have a ton of money to work with, which is super exciting. So the $450 from the bank bonus is going directly to my solo trip, which is so exciting. That brings me almost to $3,000, which is more than I wanted in this category, but it's good because obviously things are getting way more expensive, so the more I have in here the better. I'm just going to keep building it up if I get any other big bonus, which again I doubt, or if I sell anything like on eBay or anything, it's going in there. So $22.40.82 is what we have to budget with. Because we only have 2 overspend categories and I know what they are, they're minimal, we're gonna go ahead and jump into May to start working on funding these categories. First things first, we are canceling our gym membership before the next one hits, so we don't have to worry about taking care of this. Let's go ahead and edit the target, delete this, and then we're gonna leave that there. For AT&T, let's go ahead and fund half, which is how I like to do that. Let's do all of these and fund half. I like to do the low half for the first one. Well, we already did it, AT&T. Fund half. So it's the electricity bill, the rent and utility fee, and then that's it. We can hide interest and fees because that's one that I try not to deal with, only when it happens. Subscriptions and fees are all of the streaming, Oura Ring subscription, Peloton, credit card annual fees, things like that. So we're gonna fund the low half. So we sent $52.22 there. All right, here we're making a few changes. Groceries, I think I mentioned this in my last video, we're going to change this to $200, so I'm just going to give it an extra $25 there. And for dining out, we are going to increase this to $150, which is an extra $25. And now we're going to go in and fund half of everything, which would send $205 to the food category. It just gives me a little bit more breathing room. All right, variable expenses, $57.50 for entertainment, rideshare, divvy, miscellaneous, and household consumables. Under things, which is my sinking fund for underwear, socks, bras, and everything. Shopping, I wanted to adjust to $150. This is something I talked about in my, oh my gosh, when I set up my budget. So at the beginning of the year, after I funded my Roth IRA, I wanted to do this. So this has been coming for a while. And then hobbies, I'm going to increase to $75. Ooh. So now that, okay, and then this is something I've been thinking about. I don't know if I voiced this, but I'm going to increase this to $50. I've just been buying like replacements for skincare and like dry shampoo, deodorant. Oh my God, it's so expensive. I don't know. We'll see if 50 is enough. I might have to even increase that. It's just like every month something runs out, and then I don't know. I don't buy like extras. I just buy what I need, and I'm always spending more than what I'm budgeting for in this category. So self-care is for the like haircut, massages, and all that. I had to get my eyebrows done this month, and I have to get a haircut. And tennis, I'm gonna go ahead and decrease down to $70. This might be decreased again because now it's getting warmer, so we can play outside. Let's do $70 for now. So to the Gabby Improvement Fund, we'll send $195. And then I think the only thing down here is medical. Send $10. Yeah. So now that we've changed those targets, let's go back to April and send a little extra to some of these things that we sent less to in April. So that was grocery. So we had sent $175. I want to fund up to $200, and then dining out I want to fund up to $150. So that's $25 and $25 for those. For shopping, we'll send an extra $30, and for hobbies, an extra $15. For personal care, extra $10. We'll go ahead and no, we're gonna leave the tennis because we're gonna try to go to tennis a little bit more this month since we're canceling the gym, and it'll be our last month like really paying for it. Perfect. Let's go ahead and take care of this overspending, which is 67 cents in streaming. I don't know what was more than we thought it would be. Let's go ahead and take care of this with ready to assign. And then we booked flights for Charlotte. We used mostly points and then paid for one flight. And we'll go ahead and take care of that from travel. So, perfect. I'm still working on this Charlotte budget. I have it here, just kind of figuring out some of the restaurants that we want to go to. I know one of them is going to be really expensive. It's like an all-you-can-eat Brazilian, like Rodizio. It's like fancier than Rodizio. So good. But yeah, that means May is funded, or half funded, which is what I need to do with this paycheck. April is fully funded, which means we can go into our sinking funds and start sending money to our priorities. Right now, we need to focus on moving and then visitors. After that, it's travel and home goods and gifts. All right. So looking at our calendar here, today's the 13th. Andy's sister just left. We're dog sitting and then she'll be back. My dad was supposed to come on Thursday, but he actually had to go back home instead of staying in Salt Lake for longer and then coming here because my grandma had to have surgery. So his trip here was canceled and his trip in Utah was shortened. It sucks. It sucks because of my grandma, and then it sucks because I don't get to see him. It's sad. Obviously, that means we just don't need as much money in visitors, but that doesn't mean I want to let up. I still want to send money there in preparation for when he does eventually come. And we still have my brother, his wife, and child coming later on, and then I'm sure other people will be coming. So I'm preparing. I'm not gonna let this happen again. So let's go ahead and let's look at this again. So the initial thing is to get visitors to 500 and moving to 500. We can do both with this. Let's do moving to 500. And then let's do 192 visitors. And we still have $500 to work with, which is awesome. Feels so good. Okay. And then from there, we jump down to travel, and we need to get travel to 2,500. Holy heavens. See, this is where we need to do some work. I don't know that 2,500 is where we're going to go to before we move on to something else, especially when we completely used up our gifts category. Okay, let's send some to travel. Let's send $1,650. That's a good start. Very good. Let's go ahead and also send a little more to gifts. My dad's birthday is coming up, and we just wanted to buy. It's not coming up till next month, still like a month away, but we wanted to buy him a present, give it to him while he was still in the US, and send it off with him. So that's what we did. I don't know what happened to this penny. I honestly think something's going on with my YNAB, because what happened to those $40 and what happened to that penny? Where did that penny go? I did not take it out. I did not take it out. All right, so in travel, in addition to kind of replenishing what we took out for the flight to Charlotte, so that's $77.24, we send an extra $250, so that's like $327 that we sent to travel, which is really good. Okay, we sent all of this to visitors and moving. I'm kind of leaning towards sending $25 to gifts, because I like $100. $100 in gifts feels good. And then let's go ahead and send 50 to moving, $12.47 to electronics, $262 to home goods. I'm just making some of these numbers look nice. $622 to dates and stuff. I'm gonna leave a gift alone because I have transactions to add there. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Okay. And you know what? So then we sent just a bit to, so it's like 2082 to shopping, and just the 301 we'll go ahead and send to holding. And just like that, I feel like a whole bunch of sinking funds got a little bit of money, with the majority of the money going to visitors, moving, and travel, which are the priorities. Hitting the first goal for visitors and moving. So that feels really, really good. Travel got a good chunk, and I know that I had said that my first goal for travel is 2,500, but I just don't know that that feels right, because we actually don't have a trip planned after Charlotte. Like, I keep wanting to plan our big trip for 2025, but we have nothing. We don't even have like a part of the year that we want to do it, or like where. I just know it has to happen. It's making me anxious not knowing when it's gonna happen. But so I think that's why I'm okay like moving on past that. I just want to keep throwing money there for when we do decide to do it, we have money ready to go. So that is it for this video. I know it was kind of like all over the place and we had a lot to talk about. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you haven't done so already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe. Bye.